Good morning everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84. This is a reshoot of my Sunday morning video which I did between showers, which was meant to be my end of September monthly diary garden tour and update. Somehow or other the file got corrupted on my tablet when I tried to upload it to YouTube and it failed, so I'm just doing a quick reshoot again of roughly what I did on Sunday. Just going to do a quick walk around the garden as it's not raining at the moment. As you can see, the grass is now very long because we've had a lot of rain the last week or so, so it's been impossible to get out and cut the grass. So doing a quick run around. There is my camellia. The agipanthus have long finished flowering now, and they're absolutely covered in seed pods. You can probably see the black seeds start to appear in some of them. I might put bags on them and cut the seed pods off because I can save the seeds, and I might sow some or possibly give some away to people local, or even list them for sale and sell some seeds. Got plenty of them, all of the large blue flowered varieties. This is my Rouge de Bordeaux fig. Got plenty of figs on it, you can see there, which are main crop figs, but they won't make it to ripeness. It is a big problem in this country that we have relatively short summers, and the temperatures drop quite quickly in September, October, and unfortunately the sap gets cut off to the figs, so they don't reach maturity. I will do a complete fig video another day which discusses the problems we're trying to get main crop fruits. And my variegated rhododendron doing well. No problems with that. Looks like it'll have plenty of flower buds on it for the spring, all being well. That's my elephant's ears. That's an alocasia. Haven't looked after it this year. Sorry, you can probably hear the parakeets overhead. Our non-native birds that we get a lot of around here now. They are lovely looking, but they do make a big squawking noise. Yeah, this is my alocasia. It's very, very pot bound. Been in this pot for probably 3 or 4 years. As you can see, the leaves are small, they're yellow. It has, despite that, got some flower buds on it which aren't very impressive. If I can keep it alive over winter, I'll cover it in fleece, and if it stays alive I will repot it in the spring and divide it up into several smaller plants, because it's a shame that they're not doing as well as they could do, but I just haven't had time really to deal with those this year. These are my fig cuttings which I took of my parents' ground turkey in the spring. They're all doing very nicely now, all rooted. Obviously they're starting to go dormant. They have got embryo figs on them, but of course they'll fall off in the next few weeks. But they've got to a good size, so I'll either, if I've got any friends who want any in spring, I'll give those away, and I'll maybe be able to sell some as well to people who are interested. This is a self-seeded buddleia, or butterfly bush. Just found its way into one of my empty pots. Still got some tomatoes on the tomato plants. The sort of cold has played havoc with them. Some of the small ones, as you can see, are split from the. It's a combination of heavy rain and the cool weather causes splitting. I mean, they're only not really any good for eating, although you could use them in a tomato sauce. I've still got outside a Passiflora edulis. That's the purple passion fruit. That's the one that produces edible fruit, not hardy, but as I had a spare one I thought I'd put it in the garden, plant it out and see if it grew. It's doing quite well. I might try and experiment and see if I can cover it in glass in winter and get it through the hard frosts, but it's unlikely. But I've got several more of them which I'll have inside, so should be okay for next year anyway. Like I said, there's still a fair number of tomatoes on the plants which aren't a bad size. And these are my beefsteak tomatoes, still ripening, so I'm quite pleased with those. Got my first of my sweet peppers. Ridiculous, they've not been ripening until October. I've got 2 varieties, a red one and a yellow one. The yellow one has got a few very small fruits on it, but I'm afraid the cold summer's been a bit of a disaster, and they're certainly not yellow. No problem with the chocolate vines. They've done very well since they were planted this year. These are semi-evergreen. They tend to hold on to their leaves unless we get really cold winters. So they'll hold on to a fair amount of leaves, and we should get flowers on both of these plants in the spring, which I'll do a video of. And potentially, if with two different sort of strains of plants, might even get fruit. My figs are going into dormancy now. I've noticed that pot-grown plants seem to go into dormancy much easier than plants that are in the ground. I guess it's the unpredictable water levels in the pots and restricted root growth that can cause the problems. Plenty of fruits on some of these plants, brown turkeys. I've got fruits on my Verdone, fruits on some of the other varieties, but none of them are going to make it to maturity as the weather's too cold now. My pomegranate Molar Delche has virtually lost all its leaves now. That's gone that's gone into dormancy quite early. We probably won't get any frosts for another couple of weeks, all being well, but we'll see. It's supposed to be colder on Wednesday this week, so I'll keep an eye on the weather. Persimmons also starting to go into dormancy now. This is Nikita's gift. Persimmons get a lovely sort of mixture of coppery, red and yellow coloured leaves in autumn, so they make a good display. That's the first one to go. Some of the others aren't really going into dormancy. This is my Mountain Govala, put on good growth this year. As you can see, it's probably 18 inches, and most of the other persimmons still have green leaves, so I think they'll be holding on to them for another 2 or 3 weeks. It's my pawpaw there, still green, but the smaller one behind it, it's getting the lovely golden yellow leaves typical of pawpaws. Moving along, been quite interested to see that, I don't know if we'll be able to film them or not, but I have actually got, you can just about see, in fact I'll try and show the one up here without knocking it off. This is a persimmon Giro, and it has actually got 2 or 3 fruits on it, which are quite a surprise to me because it's in the smallest pot of all my persimmons and needs to be repotted this winter. But I guess that's about 1.5 inches across. I think when it's mature, the Giro will probably produce fruits that are at least 3 inches, but to get anything at all on it is it's quite a surprise, really. My jujubes are going into winter dormancy now. Again, they go a lovely sort of golden yellow colour. That one seems to be holding its leaves much longer for whatever reason than this one. Got to do a bit of weeding in the pots, but I'm quite pleased with how they've done in containers. Sorry for the speed of turning around here, but I need to get moving because I've got to head off to work as soon as I've done this video. My summer bedding's pretty much finished now. There's still a few flowers hanging on the petunias and a couple of geranium flowers, but the sort of the cold, wet nights we get at the end of September do affect them quite quickly. Cucumbers now finished. They haven't done well this year. They had some kind of virus on them, so I hardly got any produce, but I did get a few courgettes or zucchinis and still a couple on the plant, so they've been worthwhile. Another fig, this is Goutte d'Or. Again, quite decent sized fruits, but sadly highly unlikely to be edible. What happens is with our cool daytime and nighttime temperatures at this time of the year, the sap gets cut off to the figs, so they stop developing and growing, so they never get to a ripening stage. Mulberries are going into dormancy now. You know autumn's arrived when the mulberries start to go yellow and lose their leaves. But they've done incredibly well for their first year, and I'm expecting to get, well, certainly fruits off this Illinois everbearing next year. Moving on, my sweet potato plants, they've done quite well. I'm pleased with how they've gone this year. First time I've tried growing them. I've even had a few flowers on them. One's just closed. And looking at the bottom of the plants, there are signs of possibly having a couple of sweet potatoes, so once the frost gets the foliage and they die down, I'll pull these out and see if there's anything of edible size. This sad looking specimen here was a hibiscus, a roselle. I just thought I'd try growing one as an experiment, but sadly our summer was much too cold for it. It took a long time to get going, and it's never really got to the size where it was going to produce any flowers, and obviously with frost coming fairly soon, There's little chance of it getting any further at the moment. Strawberries seem to be mostly successful, and nearly all the runners I put in pots seem to have rooted and growing. There's still more runners there if I want to carry on putting more pots down. Might do that next Sunday. Moving on to my other border. Excuse me. All my bulbs are doing fine. There's even a little cyclamen hidden down there. Those are nerines at the back there. This is my largest pawpaw. Hasn't gone into dormancy yet, but obviously will do. I start to go yellow now, so will be fairly soon. My first pineapple guava at this end of the garden is the Feijoa. This is Triumph. Now this one has got, if I can show you, this one I featured in the Feijoa video. It has got 2 fruits on it. They're not a bad size. They're getting up to 2 inches long, so I'm quite optimistic they'll be, if they carry on swelling through October, I could have some edible fruits, which would be very exciting. Bottle brush calistemons doing very well here. No problems with how that's been growing. Should have lots of new growth and flowers on it next year. I've got tons more Agipanthus seed pods. And to show the difference between pot growing and garden growing plants, this is my pomegranate that's in ground. This is a bush one. I'm growing as a bush rather than the standard tree. No real sign of dormancy on it. Still covered in green leaves, still growing. So it just goes to show the difference between being in the ground, although the location might make a difference anyway. Just going round to the back here, I've also got another pawpaw planted in this border. This is a sunflower. Doesn't seem to be doing very well here among the other plants. It's gone into dormancy already, so I'm thinking I might lift this one in winter and transplant it into a large pot so I can keep an eye on it and see what happens. This is my other Feijoa, the unnamed one that's not named. It's absolutely covered in fruits that seem to be completely round. Loads and loads of fruits on it, but as it's an unnamed cultivar and might have been grown from seed, some of the fruits are a good inch and a half in size. There's loads of them on it, but whether or not they're going to produce edible fruits or fruits that taste pleasant remains to be seen. Don't know, probably going to find out at the end of October. My Passiflora passion flower amethyst, this is the non-edible one. It did produce a couple of orange fruits this year. Did taste them, absolutely inedible, completely revolting, but it's really taken off this year. I mean, I've got flowers way up into my neighbour's conifer. I mean, it's probably 15 feet high in places, but if it stays mild, should get some flowers on it well into November. But it's just a stunning decorative plant. Blueberries, as you see, they've got wonderful autumn colours. Excuse me, sorry about my throat today, seem to have some dust in it. Wonderful autumn colours, which is one of the reasons I grow blueberries. It's not just about the fruits, they have lovely flowers, lovely spring coloured growth, and obviously lovely growth in the lovely colours on the leaves in the autumn as well. So it's well worth growing them for just purely as an ornamental shrub in your garden. That's my Actinidia arguta isai. Sorry, it doesn't seem to want to focus for whatever reason. Starting to go into dormancy now. Losing its leaves. No idea why it's not in focus. It should be all right here. But that's a little kiwi fruit or Chinese gooseberry, the smooth one that's self-fertile. So it's made such good growth this year. I'm really expecting to have flowers and fruits on it next season. My last Feijoa, this one is Mammoth. And this actually has a fruit on it, a lot more oval shaped, egg shaped than the others. Frankly, I think calling this variety Mammoth is a bit of a misnomer. Although it's a very young plant, so I'm joking because it's the first year and it's produced one flower and one fruit, so you know it's going to be small. But I'm expecting great things for that in the future. Still got some flowers on the lavender. Now, also quite exciting is got some flower buds appearing here. I'd almost forgotten I had these plants. You can see colour on it here. These aren't Agipanthus, so the leaves look similar. These are my nerines, Nerine Baldini or Baldinii, and the reason I planted these is it's really nice to have, they produce flowers in September and October here, so it's wonderful to have some autumn colour. And as you can see, they're doing very well. Another flower head coming out here, so in a week's time they'll be in full flower. Now if I can manage to climb over the back of my board without damaging anything, down here I've got my Chilean guava. This is Agni Mollini, and this has got a number of fruits on it, particularly underneath down the bottom. These should turn a nice sort of dark red colour when they're ripe, which I think will probably be late October. They only get to the size of large peas, and they're supposed to be very sweet, but I've never tried them. This is my first year, so again I'm quite excited with those. But this variety Flambeau is really grown for its ornamental foliage. You can see it's got a lovely colour, and it is evergreen, of course. Stepping back off again, plenty of flower buds on my camellia. This is the variety that flowers first normally. And my Daphne's still got plenty of flowers on it as well. Shame we can't put the scent on camera because they smell fantastic. My outdoor lemon experiment isn't very successful. This is a Myers lemon. As you can see, it's still extremely yellow. I've tried everything on it this summer. I've tried Epsom salts, I've tried sequestrine, I've tried various feeds. I haven't overdosed it because I didn't want to cause problems with it by overdosing it, but it's stayed very yellow and it hasn't really grown at all, so I suspect my outdoor experiment's not going to be successful. I can't see it surviving another winter, but it was worth trying anyway, because it's one of the hardest of the lemons. Still got plenty of flowers on my Butylon. This is only growing for ornamental purposes, but it flowers all the way from June right through to about middle to end of October, so it's a great little climber to have. That's about it for the plants. Oh no, I've got a couple of small ones here of my outdoor ones. There's another Chilean guava, Agni Mollini Flambeau. It's got a couple of fruits on it because it needs to go into a container, so I will repot it. And this is another Chilean guava. This one is called Butterball because it has the new growths yellow, and that's actually covered in fruits. Now they might look as if they're ripe, but I don't think they are, because these ones seem to have these seem to be this colour from when they develop, so I think they should go a much darker red before they're edible. But that's my quick garden tour of the outdoor plants. As I said, it's should have been done on. This was one I filmed on Sunday morning. I did a longer version, but unfortunately the file got corrupted. So I'll try editing this one later and uploading it again, and see if I can get it onto YouTube for anyone who might be interested in seeing it. Anyway, I need to get to work now. It's Brett out here. Thank you for watching. Welcome to like. Obviously welcome to share the video if you think anyone would be interested. Welcome to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, and hit the bell if you want to see future notifications. This will probably be my last monthly video, diary video, because obviously by the end of October pretty much everything will be dormant and there won't be anything happening in the garden, but I will be doing short videos in between, just to see how plants get on, if I've got anything particular of interest to show people for the ones I'm trying to overwinter inside the house. But that's out for now. I'm going to get off to work. Have a wonderful week everyone, and I'll catch up with you in the next video.